Hello. This video is to add some supporting explanation to the place and the stream of consciousness technique using Jack Kerouac, some excerpts from Jack Kerouac's On the Road and Allen Ginsberg's How. Both of these, to begin with, are beat writers. They wrote in about mid-20th century along with, they're kind of the iconic beat writers along with William S. Burroughs, who wrote Naked Lunch. And the reason I chose these to start with is because I think they're a little bit more accessible for the stream of consciousness technique. They're a little bit more contemporary. And there's something that is a bit like kind of unbridled with them. Like Jack Kerouac was said to actually have written On the Road in 3 weeks. And so I think there's something very like organic in his particular approach with the stream of consciousness technique that is useful when we're first kind of starting to get to know it. And in this case, because this piece has a big travel, obviously, emphasis, if you haven't read the book, even just looking at the title, I've chosen 2 excerpts that emphasize place and kind of the rolling language that went around it. And to accompany that, I chose Allen Ginsberg's How, although I actually haven't heard it officially referenced as a stream of consciousness technique, or of the stream of consciousness realm, given that it's poetry. But I think it still has that kind of like loosening up of the language, and that's kind of flowy, jumpy, yet it still holds kind of a thematic foundation to it, that I thought is a good exposure to kind of like start this, to kind of spur on this kind of creative exploration of the stream of consciousness technique. So using those is kind of a way to see how this could possibly be done, particularly on the road. I've asked you to examine or to use a couple of prompts. Now this is like your class, so however you want to use these prompts, if it's a combination, if it ends up being something kind of that digresses and is different, that's fine. We're just attempting to practice this technique. And so I gave you a few examples to get you started, and these are, I assume that they're fictionalized, but using our own experience is a great way to kind of like open a window into a real visceral, physical, like kind of connection, to our work that I think can make it more authentic. So the first prompt that you can consider is taking a vacation as a kid. A lot of times the childhood memories hold a special sort of emotional pull that I think is really helpful with the stream of consciousness technique. And so this could be a family vacation, a school field trip, your first time going with friends to the mall, whatever kind of your region, which that was the big iconic thing for me in my suburbia region, was going to the mall with a friend by yourself. Whatever speaks to you is kind of one of maybe those first explorations and kind of has those vivid, maybe emotional connections. And then you can also consider there's a lot of things that go on with move. I've moved a lot. And in those days just before you leave a place, perhaps if you're driving the truck yourself, those first nights in a new place, I think offer like some of those kind of flowy, reflective details as well to kind of work with and kind of inspire this technique. And then, and if you've ever taken a long trip yourself, particularly if you've done it alone, a road trip alone, that might work as inspiration as well. So to kind of channel like these techniques, you can start by just maybe a simple description, maybe just kind of a simple timeline, very linear, and then go back and see where you can kind of almost over-connect things, perhaps, and see where you can maybe interrupt it with a digression. In other words, perhaps a memory or something of that nature. Look for opportunities where you can maybe use unusual language, even if it doesn't make sense. Just something to kind of shake loose our usual approach to narrative and kind of connect more to this approach that mimics a real flowy sense of the mind. So that's the conclusion of this video, and as always, please let me know if you have any questions.